Hello. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hopefully you can hear me. I will assume so. Here, maybe I can test this audio here. Yeah. Okay. Audio is coming in. That is the good thing. That is a good thing. Let's get some music going in the background. Hey, how's it been, folks? It's been a little bit. Been busy, to say the least, with all sorts of different things. Been doing a lot of deep dives into AI stuff, and that's what I've been doing on the side. But I'm looking forward to streaming. Yo, hello, Mr. Jason Harrison. That's a fancy looking YouTube profile picture you got there. Look at that. Look at that smile. All right. So what's going on? Let me just send out a quick tweet about it. Send out that tweet about we are live. Okay. And yeah, so there's been a lot going. It's been a little bit since we touched Redwood, admittedly, with all sorts of other technology stuff going on. I've been wrapped up with a lot, like with mostly AI stuff, and conference stuff and all sorts of other stuff. And the Redwood team has been moving and shaking and doing all sorts of cool stuff. That one of those things is that Redwood has reached 5.1 since the last time we've spoken. And our template app, our Redwood template app here over here at Zeal that we have is a little bit behind. Many streams ago, we had worked on doing a 4.1 upgrade that went fairly well. I do say so. Let me share my screen, which is this one. And let's do this. All right. Yeah, so here is our template, Redwood template app. So it is a Redwood template application that you can use to get going with all sorts of stuff already baked into it. And right now it is on 4.1. I just merged in our 4.1 upgrade branch that unfortunately didn't get merged in before. But we're gonna go on an adventure today, and we are going to try to upgrade to 5.1. So let's look up RedwoodJS, and let's go over to the we'll go to the GitHub, and we will look at our versions. So there we go. They have 5.1.4. So we're currently at 4.1. So we have a little adventure to go through in terms of going from 4.1 to 5. Lots of releases. But I'm confident that things will go well based off the previous history of upgrading with Redwood. So let's go through those incremental updates and see how things go. So let's switch projects real quick. And I am going to do this screen real quick and do this. Close this. And all right, so I have the project pulled up. Let's go check out the main branch. Pull down the latest from main. I think the latest should be our upgrade. Yep, there it is. Okay. So now let's open up VS Code into our project and get chugging along. Tiny text. Let's see, we want to switch over to our JavaScript profile. Oh my. Oh yeah. Our font is really big because we had done a recording last night and needed to do really big font for people to read stuff. We actually don't need this help and feedback. All right. Let's try looking at documentation for Redwood about upgrading. So I think on the discourse is where they have the most up-to-date stuff in terms of upgrade guides and all that type of stuff. If not, it's in the documentation. Let's take a look. It has been quite a little bit since last time. So let's go here, tutorials. So that's the regular tutorials. All right, let's go hop over to, let's see, upgrade. Let's talk upgrade. That's the logger. All right, let's go to discourse. Link the community and discourse. Okay, here we go. releases and upgrade guides. Here we go. So we have, let's take a look at the release notes. First of all, let's take a look at the release notes going from the different minor versions. Changelog. So changelog has moved to GitHub releases. Okay. And let's try to find let's go to our tag for 4. So we're on 4.1, 4.1. Let's go to 4.2. Let's take a look at 4.2. So 4.2 was a security release. Yeah, so 4.2 was just a security release. And let's see. So I think there should be like a script for upgrading. Yarn Redwood upgrade. So let's see what happens if we run Yarn Redwood upgrade in general, going from 4 to 5. We do have breaking changes. First run upgrade command, then we'll go through all the breaking changes one by one. Let's see what happens. I trust. And let's see where we end up with the upgrade. So I'm going to take a look at the package.json and see how we are upgrading. So we're doing a major leap on the upgrades. We're going to 5.1. I wonder if we could choose to do incremental upgrades instead. Let's find out. Let's go to Redwood. Because that is, so reference, command line interface, and let's look at the upgrade command. So we can choose what version to go, upgrade to a specific version. Let's go through the motions of that first to make sure we don't skip anything important, because it's fairly important usually with upgrading to go through incremental upgrades, because there are certain things that we don't want to skip. So this one was an upgrade. So 4.2 was an upgrade to Clark. We don't have to really worry about, we're not using Clark, so we don't need to worry about an upgrade to Clark. Let's go ahead and just jump ahead and do an upgrade to 4.3. Or check what 4.3 is up. So fix delete cache key needs to include global cache prefix. So that's not any breaking changes either for us. And do we have a version 4? So we're just gonna kind of just click on it and see what happened. So we fixed an upgrade to prettify function, fixed the CLI yarn redwood destroy GraphQL command, mention both template files and model template. There's some doc updates, some chores, chore dependencies. Nothing called out with any code mods or anything like that. Again, so maybe jumping over to version 5 isn't a bad thing yet. So just mock's only throwing errors. So this is a note about if our just mock is throwing throwing errors. Features. Update scaffold generator to use empty as undefined when it's nested. Fixed Babel Vite. Initial Babel Vite. Enable next and experimental tags for Redwood upgrade. Okay. Doc updates, chores, core dependencies. So that is okay. There's no major changes again. And looks like there's no 4.6. So let's go to 5.0. So there are breaking changes in 5.0. And that's where we get in over here. Just in case you missed them, here's a quick announcement post and changelog. So let's take a look at the announcement post. So is this command still going? Yes, it is. So it is an upgrade to React 18, TypeScript version 5, and we're introducing the Redwood Studio OpenTelemetry app or interface. So React 18 is pretty standard. Whoops, don't want to do that. Version 5 for TypeScript. I don't think we have to worry about that. So the introduction of Redwood Studio, an experimental thing for telemetry. Two new experimental features that work with tracing, observability, Slick UI to view it all on your project. And you can try both via the Redwood experimental. So that's what's brand new. And then we have our Redwood upgrade guide that they're pointing to, which we have right here. So it looks like, yeah, we audited the minor versions, and the minor versions look fine after going to 4.1 or from 4.1. Let's look at version 5. So the breaking changes for that. RedwoodJS package now targets version node 18. TypeScript version 5 and Sales graphical client related prompts are now in an object named query results. Okay. Cells check both query fields for data. Validate with is now validate with sync. Update to tracker UI. More types for auth methods. Implementation for auth. Implementing auth 0, Supabase, simple web auth, and version 2 or version 7. Deprecating support for serverless framework. So this one's in the deprecated support for serverless framework is interesting. So, but let's go through these because it looks like we got this going through. And then Apollo client, cool. How's this going? So this goes. DB auth setup. All right, so there was a straight just package update. Let's go ahead while we're auditing the changes. Let's go through and actually run tests. So let's look at testing. Tool, but we'll through that. Spins up the Postgres Docker container. So let's run regular yarn test. And let's let our test run while we audit the changes. So most of the breaking changes introduced in React 18 were internal to the framework. Yeah. So I'm not afraid of the React 18 upgrade. As far as upgrading, there are only 2 guaranteed changes that you'll have to make. If you have a custom web index, there's a third change. Websites package JSON. Let's see. Let's close all these for now. We'll do a file browser view so we can see which package JSON we're looking at. And there is the changes for React. So we can implement this via an automated fashion. Let's go through that. So let's run all the tests. And then while that's running, let's run the command, the code mod command to do these changes here. So if you have other HTML elements to the React tool, all right, well, first let's run this and then. Okay, so let's see. If you added other HTML elements to the React root, you'll need to move them elsewhere, probably into layout, or else you'll encounter hydration errors while pre-rendering. React expects to have full control of this DOM node. Let's take a look at our source index, web source index. Oops, not the CSS. Yeah, so this is still the same. Besides upgrading React, we've also upgraded TypeScript and React testing library. Okay. Oh, yes, we want to proceed. All Redwood deploy targets now support deploying to 18, so we've bumped the version of Node.js that Redwood package targets to 8.16, the code mod. Above updates the Node version in the engines field in the root package JSON. After upgrading to your project to v5, please update the Node version of Node.js to your deploy provider uses. So this updates in the package JSON. So usually the package JSON will have the option for a field, and if that one doesn't, go to this package JSON. So you can see right here that our target is greater than 14.19, less than 16. So this code mod is going to update that to target 18. We don't have to do anything about upgrading the TypeScript because it's already built into Redwood. And oh, looks like we got some errors. We have one failed test. Not bad. Let's finish. Well, actually, 9. Well, we're still running tests. Okay. I'm about to say, I'm like, oh, hold on. Let's finish running the tests, and then we'll continue. We'll continue along our adventure. So here's the upgrades for React 18 and the new style. Here's the hydration. Logic here. So this is all the same. This changed here. Okay. All right, 3 failures. Let's finish going through the motions of all these upgrades and then we'll run the test again. So we only have 3 failures, which is pretty good. Let's upgrade the engine now. Because we're still not completely done switching over to version 5. So I'll wait to fix anything until we've finished doing all the incremental steps for this upgrade. Okay, so it looks like we've set this to 18. So if we take a look at this package JSON here, we should be able to see that the engine's been upgraded. And there you go, 18. All right, in cells, GraphQL client related props are now in an object named query results. So the components in cells, failure, loading, empty, success have access to a lot of props. They have access to basically everything in GraphQL client. Use query hook returns in Apollo kit. In the client's case, it's a lot. So there's a non-zero chance that one of its props overwrites one of your data props. By far the most common case. Okay. So we're doing basically namespacing. So to ensure that one of the default default attributes that use query has built into it doesn't accidentally overwrite data that you might have. Let's see. So looks like I didn't do anything because we don't have any. Does this project not have any cells? It does, has plenty of them. I guess we're just not in our situation. We don't have to worry about the namespacing because we're not using those. Okay, let's see. Cells check both query fields and data. Cells with more than one field on the GraphQL query type behave somewhat counterintuitively. If the users don't return any data, a post does, cell shows empty instead of success. This probably isn't what you expect, but we fixed it in this release to show success if there's any data. Not only if there's data in the first field on the query type. Code mod above scans the cells in your project that are affected by this change and alerts you to them. Okay. And what this other one did is by far the most common case of the model named client is overwritten by Apollo. This comes up very often. To use query returns instead. Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye out for this and we'll have to audit the app for situations where this is going to happen. So we're going to have to remember that this code mod might not get us all the way through. Let's check. Let's run this one. And this one's going to tell us, it's going to be our little canary and tell us if there's anything to worry about. You have cells that are susceptible to the is data empty behavior. Our user form teams cell. This behavior is documented in the detail for the form. Okay. So this is susceptible to the problem if user doesn't return anything. So we turn teams and we turn roles. So we don't have an empty one here. Anyway. So there's a chance that we could return back roles, but have no teams potentially. So role IDs, role values, roles, and teams. What this is going to do is select a team to add. Then where do we use the roles here? All right, we'll just go with it. I think we're going to be fine, but we'll just test that later. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at the test now. When the value is not selected, it renders successfully, it renders team name successfully. It renders an add a team button. Value is selected. Renders roles within a team. Renders remove team button. Yeah, we're fine. Validate with is now validate with sync. With sync. To make validate with function for RedwoodJS API, take an asynchronous function instead of a synchronous one. Following node convention, we've added an asynchronous version to validate with sync. This means that all calls to validate with need to be changed to validate with sync. While you could do a search and replace, the code mod should take it for you, so we don't break any existing logic, since we are expecting it to be synchronous instead of asynchronous. Let us do that. Cool. There was nothing to change. Now that Redwood is on React 18, you can upgrade Chakra UI to version 2. The upgrade process will depend on your use of Chakra, but at the very least, you'll have to upgrade Chakra UI, React, and Framer Motion to these package versions. And then see guide for more options. I don't think we are using Chakra. We are using Tailwind. Let's see. Yep. So Chakra and Framer Motion. Yeah, we're not using Framer Motion either. We are good on that. We continue to improve the types for improving the types for all Redwood auth integrations. While there's nothing breaking here in terms of behavior, the TypeScript changes we made for correctness may introduce type errors, which may fail your build. Okay. To implement this step, so auth0 version 2 to upgrade the auth0 authentication package. Supabase. I don't think we are doing anything. We're not doing anything with Supabase either. Yeah, Supabase authentication. And we're not using simple auth either. we do have it as a dependency on. We have it on the front end. Adding a buffer from to a few places to add to the code to change it all the new platform agnostic API. To upgrade, simply update the simple authent packages here. Let's see. So it's already set to 7. We're good. So let's read about this one. This one's interesting. Deprecating support for the serverless framework. So this, we are not dropping serverless database deploy. We will be deprecating in version 5. This means both the associated setup and deploy commands will remain in the framework as is. When the setup is run, there will be deprecations. Okay. So in the coming release for Redwood 5, we will be completely dropping built-in deployment support for serverless framework, which deploys to AWS Lambdas. Here are the related docs. In reality, this deploy provider hasn't worked with Redwood since version 4. We just now diagnosed an issue related to serverless framework, AWS Lambdas runtime support. Ooh, interesting. The serverless framework only supports deploying to AWS Lambdas using Node.js version 14. In Redwood 4, we bumped Node.js support to 16 through 18, and we bumped the API build target to Node.js 16. We should have seen this when we were preparing before, where we have diagnosed the miss and patched a CI/CD hole. Where we could, regardless, we cannot resolve this incompatibility, and thus we're dropping the support. Frankly, one of our ongoing frustrations with AWS Lambdas and providers deploying to Lambdas is the lengthy delay between Node.js LTS release and a runtime support for those releases. Given the transparency and incredible organization of the Node.js release schedule, this 6-month to 1-year lag, yeah. So it just leaves them behind on version support. First off, reply to this thread. Okay. Put the deployment providers. Okay. This doesn't affect us, basically. Different jest restore all mocks behavior. Okay, just a note. Small Apollo client type change. This is most likely isn't a breaking change for you, but we're just listing it as a precaution. So TypeScript stuff, we'll just gloss over that. Isn't a breaking change. That's fine. So some security precaution updates. Logger now prints metadata locally. All right, let's see. React 18 changes. Apollo client use mutation results. The use mutation hook for Apollo client returns this tuple that has a mutate function and an object representing mutation results. Yep. In version 4 of Redwood, we could depend on mutation result to be updated and use mutations on completed callback. But now with version 5 React 18, mutation result doesn't seem to update in this callback. Instead, opt for data prop from the onCompleted. Interesting. So we can't rely on you can't rely on this because it's out of scope. I guess because for some reason it's not reliable to do that, so we just need the data prop. Do we actually? Let's check our usage for use mutations and see. So that's the action, that's the errors. So let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit of an audit here because it looks like, yeah, it's like a weird bug. And so if we're trying to reference the results on complete, then we're gonna have a little issue here. We're not doing that here. We're not doing that here. Let's see, so that's not there either. How about here? Nope. 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 That's good too. Good. 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 Yep. I'm just noticing this. Refresh the queries. It shouldn't be necessary. Honestly, it shouldn't be necessary to refresh the query. But I'm just noticing this. Nope. And nope. Okay. That doesn't affect us. All right. Looks like we got plenty of discussion going down. All right. Let's run tests and again and see what fails and look into it. So this actually upgraded to version 5.1, and let's take a look at the 5.1 release. So 5.1 introduces the render modes, and it also introduces being able to handle jobs, crons, and using ingest service. Excuse me. Let's run all the tests. The first pass after doing the first upgrade, I think we already had one failing test, but going through and doing the code mods, it looks like we haven't hit that first failing test. Not bad. But fingers crossed that we don't encounter anything else. Ooh, there's a leaky test. What we'll do next is, hey, we have completely passing tests. Not bad. Let's go ahead and try running our end-to-end tests. So there should be some end-to-end tests in the app already. Let's see if we can get end-to-end tests running. I think last time I tried to do this, the end-to-end tests didn't work. But I think that was more of a setup issue on my side. So end-to-end tests are going to be using Playwright. This could take a little while to set up because this is going to be running a headless browser. Has to set up the environment and all that type of good stuff. Oh, let's see here. What is going on? So it looks like it had waiting for navigation, done, content loaded. Interesting. I haven't really seen the Playwright configuration, so let's take a look at that configuration because I haven't done anything with it. So what is going on with the command? px playwright test playwright config.js. Okay. So reset the database, start the container, play playwright. So is Docker running? Docker, so it's running it's setting up the database, setting up the volumes, yeah, all that type of stuff, and it's doing all through Docker. And then it is attempting to run yarn redwood build. And let's see what these steps look like here. Initializing playwright. So I didn't see any of these steps occur. It's checking if Playwright is installed, period. So I don't see. So we see the Redwood build. I don't see yarn Redwood start, anything like that. So if it's a CI process, so we set up here, we have this. The playwright command is that. It goes through here. If it's not, it checks the Docker, removes it. Should reset, and then it starts the container, does that, and then after it does that, it runs playwright, and then it checks if playwright's installed. Initializing playwright, it runs npx playwright install, and then parse the args if there are any args to parse, and runs any commands. So parse, so checks if it's installed, goes here, debug, there's just playwright, and then it runs npx playwright with that. So this is, I think one of the things that is not being run is the yarn redwood build. When does this get run? And this only gets run on resetting the database. And when does this reset database stuff get done? Should reset. When do we decide to reset? When we're gonna do a init. So let's pass in the init, and let's check if the instructions say anything about that here. You're interested in it, so da. So the script right now is just assuming that you've automatically initialized. So it is a requirement that we do an init step when we're doing the end to end. Now this should hopefully get us our end-to-end test up and running. The one thing I don't see here specifically is getting the environment running, but maybe that is in the Playwright configs itself. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it's in the configs, yarn redwood serve. And this step wouldn't have worked because since we didn't do a build, the serve wouldn't have worked. So the build step's going to take a while, unfortunately. Initializing Playwright. Ooh, we're getting close. We're getting close. So hopefully Playwright's actually going to start the server. It's doing stuff. It's running. It's running. And we have passing tests too. That's exciting. Ooh, we got one failing test. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah. Oh, it's testing Firefox now. So the test that failed is the password reset test. Since 4.1, there was change. Since version 4, there were changes to the way the user flow. Since 4.1, the user authentication was extracted out to a separate library. So I wonder if that extraction resulted in an issue with the password reset. Profile edit spec. Interesting. It passed in Chrome, but it failed in Firefox. It looks like it might fail in in Firefox, the second test too, since it's kind of hanging there. Yeah. Let's see this. Let's see if this one fails in a. Yeah, it looks like this one's failing too. That one passes. And then we are running through and testing WebKit next. Yeah, allow connection to WebKit. So in less than an hour, we were able to upgrade Redwood from version 4.2 to 5.1 with the help of code mods that changed just a little bit of code. I mean, admittedly, it changed the package JSONs. This ERD doesn't matter. And a couple other things. So there's only 7 files changed, 6 if we exclude the ERD. And we have very minimal breaking changes. We'll have to audit these. So Firefox, there looks like there was some issues. WebKit's going by pretty smoothly. It looks like in all 3 scenarios, the reset password flow is broken. That probably is related to the change to user auth, DB auth, that we'll have to look into. But considering that we went to a major version, only 1 breaking test is pretty dang good. Yeah, decent jump without a lot of pain. Yeah, and this could just be this. This is I'm pretty much guaranteeing that this has to do with the DB auth changes because originally when the template was created, it was before 4.0. So the DB auth flow was baked. All authentication in Redwood was baked into the package itself, into Redwood main. And what they did is they had reworked the authentication workflows and extracted out those dependencies into their own separate libraries that you use. So if you want to use dbauth, you would go and install the dbauth package, and then that plugs in to RedwoodJS to do the authentication through hooks. When we did that upgrade process, everything went fairly smoothly. All the tests checked out, but now it looks like something is broken. So it's either the dbauth or one of the mutations or something like that we're not properly handling, that they called out in the 5.0 changes. But we can get to that next time. This was a pretty good jump, pretty smooth. I mean, sometimes Rails is not even this smooth. Rails is a pretty smooth upgrade, but even sometimes going to a major version of Rails might require some tweaking. But this was pretty good. And not only did we go up to our major version of Redwood, we also went up, to a new version of Node. So it's and a new version of TypeScript, and a couple other new versions for testing libraries. So there was a lot of things baked in there that we went up and with little effort. Let's go ahead and be proper developers, and we are going to break this out into a separate branch. So let's do a chore, Redwood or v5 upgrade, because we ain't done yet. We need to validate those tests that they're still good. And we're going to do a commit for this. So upgrade to v5 and run code mods. And let's publish that change. And we will get back to it next Friday, where we'll do some auditing to figure out exactly what's going on. So it looks like right here we can see that, User should fill out new password input. So password, you should fill out new password input. So it looks like the UI is here with the input field. We'll have to check that out and see, because that is interesting. Might actually just be a UI change, but we'll see. All right, everyone, let's click this button here. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. And hopefully, this doesn't make watching this doesn't make it seem like upgrading in Redwood is scary. There is a lot. There's code mods that the Redwood team has built for you to use, making it really smooth. And I will catch you in the next one. We'll finish this upgrade next Friday. Figure out the test. It might be a lot simpler than we think it is. But until next time, folks, have a good one. Peace. Bye.